It's fitting. I've started the women's ice hockey question, so I'll be reporting. Volleyball question, I'll be reporting
too. That is how they design it, yeah.
What creates offense?
Defense.
What creates defense?
Offense.
No, the goalie in the back of the net.
So you're crazy. I like you, but you're crazy because
At least if you're going to pick a trap game, pick the right ones.
Little fast footwork. I know your feet don't move that fast.
Brady, that's all flash, no cash. She didn't net it in the back of the net. That's not even a
What are you
goal.
doing pulling out Ryan?
Brady.
Are you ready for some debate? This Bobcat Breakdown starts right now.
Welcome into Studio 125 for another episode of Bobcat Breakdown. I'm your host, Andrew Allison, and alongside me are my analysts, Naffah and Beckett Calkins. I hope you gentlemen are excited for some spooky sports debate tonight.
Yeah, it's almost Halloween time. I know you and I are ready for Halloween. Beckett over here, he looks like he's ready for Christmas with a red tie.
I'm skipping Thanksgiving.
I know.
To kick off the show, we have Q30 women's ice hockey beat reporter Spencer Decker here with an exclusive Athlete of the Month interview with women's ice hockey player Kahlen Lamarche.
Hello and welcome to this Q30 Sports Athlete of the Month interview. Today we have Quinnipiac women's ice hockey player Kahlen Lamarche. Kahlen, outstanding month for you. 12 goals and 7 assists. Just bring me through that recap and how do you feel about this month?
Yeah, I mean, I think our team's on fire right now. I mean, you know, we've only lost one game, which is kind of awesome. And I think everything's just fitting into place.
Speaking off of that, you had 7 goals in one weekend. Did you ever think that you would actually have that many, and how was that feeling like?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever thought of that. You never really go into a weekend thinking you're going to score 7 goals in a weekend. So obviously a little luck goes into that. So I think I was just very fortunate for that to happen and those bounces to go my way.
In a more personal way, I want to go back in the past. How did you start getting into ice hockey?
I think, so I originally started figure skating. I don't know if anyone knew that, but I was a figure skater at first, and then my figure skating coach told my mom that I didn't have the finesse to be a figure skater. And then I should go into hockey, and so she was all mad because I was the only girl that she had to grow into a little girly girl. But that soon changed when she put me into hockey with my 2 older brothers, and the rest is history.
How awesome was it to be alongside your family while you're actually building your hockey career?
Yeah, I think it's the best part. You know, you grow such a big bond with my brothers. It's just so surreal, you know, you get so close to them just from a sport. They've taught me pretty much everything I know, the grittiness that I bring to my game, the side that I love to win, my competitiveness, it just all comes from them.
Yeah. Now, whether it be a team goal or a personal goal for you, what is the goal for this team right now, maybe, or just a personal goal for you for this season?
Yeah, I think a good goal that, you know, we've talked about a little bit with our team is making it back to the tournament. I mean, I think, you know, we've missed out on it all my 2 years here. So I think it would be a good goal to kind of just get back to the tournament and hopefully go for the win in the tournament. That would be really cool.
There's goals, assists, so much things that happen in hockey. What is your favorite part about playing hockey?
Honestly, I think it's the friendships you make along the way. You meet so many new people and you create so many friendships that last a lifetime. And it's just so awesome to have all those people around you.
ECAC is an historic conference. You have a lot of rivalries. What's one game on that schedule that you're really looking forward to?
I think one game I'm always looking forward to is the Colgate or St. Lawrence game or Clarkson. All those, I think those 3 teams in general, I'm always, you know, pumped to play those teams. They always give us good games somehow, some way. And you know, they bring out the best in us, you know, and it brings out what Quinnipiac hockey really is in all 3. Every time we play those teams, they expect us to play good and we expect them to give us a good game, and it's always a grind and a battle.
Now, speaking off of that, what is Quinnipiac hockey? What should people know about the Bobcats?
Yeah, I think Quinnipiac hockey is just all about details, you know. It's about those stick lifts and stopping at the net and picking up players on the back check. It's all about those little things that go into the bigger picture of what we kind of perform on the ice, you know.
Thank you so much for joining us on this Q30 Sports interview. That was Kahlen Lamarche, our Q30 Sports Athlete of the Month.
Staying on the topic of Lamarche, 2 weeks ago, Lamarche tallied 8 points in the Northeastern Series, in which they won both games. Now, last weekend, she had 0 points, and the team went 1-1 and seemed to struggle on the ice. Who else needs to step up for the team? Zach, what do you think?
Yeah, for me, the player I'm looking out for is Emerson Jarvis. Emerson Jarvis this season, 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points. Last year, 7, 9, 16 points total. Those 16 points were a career high for Emerson Jarvis. You need more from a leader, especially with all departures from last season. You lose a Kendall Cooper, you lose a Maddie Samoskevich. You need more from a leader. Emerson Jarvis is an alternate captain, former transfer, joined the Bobcats, I believe, last season, or 2 seasons ago now. You need more from your leader, and Emerson Jarvis is a leader, needs to set that example for everyone else on the team.
I agree with you here, but I will say the entire team needs to step up. It can't just be one person.
Completely agree.
Kahlen Lamarche was locked down by Yale and Brown. It's tough for her to be that only scorer, right? ECAC teams in conference play now, they're more familiar with her. They saw her last year. But Bryn Pryor, she showed flashes last year and now already this year. Last year she was tied for 5th on the team in goals. Out of the 4 players ahead of her, 2 of them are gone. It's Lamarche, and it's her time to step up now. She stands out on her line right now alongside Fournette and Hulk. The biggest question for me is who's going to play alongside Kahlen Lamarche on her line, because that obviously opens up other scoring opportunities for those players.
Yeah, I think Lawrence Fournette was one of my other options that I was thinking of. But interesting Pryor pick. Both of them, both Pryor and Jarvis, 16 points last year. Jarvis just had 7 goals, whereas Pryor had 8. I think they both do need to step up. The reason why I want to focus more on Jarvis is simply because the defense is going to focus on Lamarche and her line. And every now and then you might see Pryor play there. Jarvis and her line, as well as the other lines, need to make them pay for focusing on Lamarche's line. The best defensive lines from every other team are going to be playing against Kahlen Lamarche. Those lesser team or defensive lines that they play, they need to be able to score against them and create offense. Lamarche is going to get hers, and obviously talented player, one of the best.
And she creates opportunities for others.
But they need to be able to score to take the pressure off of her.
All right, now thank you both for the good insight on that, but it is time to take our first break of the night. When we return, we will be discussing whether your favorite Quinnipiac team or athlete is a trick or a treat. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Life's daily battles are not meant to be fought alone.
We're not powerless, so long as we don't lose sight of what's important.
Don't be afraid to seize that moment to talk to your friends.
Cloud, you okay?
Because checking in on a friend can create a safe space.
The first step on our new journey. You coming?
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Seize the awkward. It's totally worth it.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. Halloween is just around the corner, and Zach and Beckett will be the judge of whether your favorite QU team or player is tricking us or treating us. Starting with volleyball, they swept the #1 team in the MAC Fairfield for the first time in program history. Do you guys think that their recent performance is a trick, or will we be seeing them in the MAC Championship?
Yeah, it's a treat. I think we're seeing them in the MAC Championship. They have so much talent, so much depth on the outside. That's going to help them with kind of load management down the stretch, and they're going to find a way. They have to find a way to stay more consistent, and the communication needs to get better. That's been on and off so far this season. I think this is a treat. I think this team is legit.
So, Beckett, I completely agree with you, but you remember when you were trick-or-treating as a kid? There were some of those houses that they gave away the king-size candy
What
bars,
about the
right?
houses
They were
with the
best
lights
houses.
off?
Well, let me show you. I think women's volleyball is the king-size candy bar. They might even garner the consideration to be the favorite over Fairfield.
Kit Kat's a good choice.
Kit Kat is a great choice, by the way. Of the 7 sets they've played against the Stags, they've won 4 of them. They've been the better team across the 2 matchups. Yep. I just think that it might be a little bit of a hot take to say that they can beat Fairfield, considering Fairfield's only had 1 loss the last 2 years, but they are, so far this season, based on the numbers, better than Fairfield.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a trick.
All right, thank you both. But now heading to Montgomery, New York, the Quinnipiac women's cross-country team is heading to the MAC Championship this weekend. Will we be treated to a championship win for the 4th straight season?
I can't see why we wouldn't be. Women's cross country is arguably a dynasty at this point with 3 straight. I haven't seen anything that tells me they won't win a 4th straight. The real question might be whether or not they're the best team on campus right now with how dominant they've been in conference play. Men's ice hockey, 5 straight regular season conference championships. Women's cross country, potentially 4 straight just MAC championships.
Absolutely. It's a treat. It's a treat. But there's one team who could potentially beat them, and that would be Iona. We've seen what Iona's done on the men's side. 34 straight MAC titles on the Iona men's side. The Iona women are the only team that can come close to the Quinnipiac women's cross-country team this year. That being said, I think Quinnipiac gets it done.
Definitely a treat.
All right, thank you both. But now you got to take off your running shoes and put on your skates. Quinnipiac men's ice hockey first-year Ethan Wittenbach is scaring the competition away in the NCAA with 4 goals in 8 games. Do you guys think he'll treat himself to the most goals on the team, or is he just tricking us all?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's not tricking us at all. This is a treat. He is legit. I know he's a first year. I know you cover the team. I know you're not going to like this take. He's legit. He is the real deal. It depends a little bit who plays with him on his line and his top challengers. I know Jeremy Wilmer, Chris Pelosi, whatever. He's the only Bobcat in the past decade to score a point in his first 7 NCAA games, and that's been done in a loaded non-conference schedule. I think we can both agree that schedule just gets easier as we go throughout this season and get out of kind of the Hockey East non-conference schedule and approach the ECAC, a much weaker conference. Wittenbach is the real deal.
So I don't disagree that he's the real deal. He's phenomenal talent. Jeremy Wilmer isn't just competing for a national championship, competing to win with the Bobcats. He's competing for a spot in the AHL and potentially the NHL. The winger has 5-3-8, 5 goals, 3 assists, 8 points in 8 games. Last year at this point, he had 10, but that was buoyed by a 2-goal performance in the season opener. The first year, though, to lead the Bobcats in goals, do you know who that one was?
I don't.
Sam Annis in 2013-2014. It's been over a decade since the Bobcats had a first-year player lead them in goals, and I'm not saying Wittenbach isn't great, but I don't think that he is at the level that Sam Annis was back then.
It's also been over a decade since Quinnipiac had a player score in their first 7 games of their career. That is just insane. I know you're a very optimistic guy, and this stat could go either way, right? He leads the team in shot percentage. Now, he doesn't take...
I think they're both good.
Yeah,
Let's just
he
put it
doesn't
this way.
take a lot of shots, but he
It's
converts.
going to be one of the two.
All right, guys, all right. So now we got to head over to the footy pitch. Quinnipiac men's soccer is 3-4 in the MAC, leaving them in 8th place. They'll need to reach 6 to qualify for the MAC playoffs. Do either of you think that they'll treat us to a playoff game, or will they continue to be tricky?
Now, Beckett, last year, both of us men's soccer beat reporters again this year, they treated us to a men's soccer hosting a playoff game, which was unbelievable.
Didn't go well, though.
I wanted to say it was a treat. I really did, but it's a trick. Toughest schedule of the teams that are in a potential playoff spot right now. At number 2 Fairfield, versus number 5 Niagara, and at number 9 Merrimack. And right now they're not even in a playoff spot. And they lost to Marist, who is in that spot, and didn't just lose to Marist. Got blown out by Marist.
That was when Marist was nationally ranked.
That's true.
Things have turned for the Red
It's
Fox.
possible, but I don't think it's plausible. It was a 16 playoff last year when they had that surge and won those last 3 games. A lot had to go right last year. I don't see the chips falling that way this year for them, especially without that expanded playoff.
Now, while I think men's soccer is maybe the trickiest team on campus, I think this is a treat. I think they will make the playoffs. I'm buying in on head coach Eric DeCosta's squad. You want to know why? Because they're buying in. We heard it after last game. Alex Miller, the senior captain, called DeCosta one of the most resilient people he knows. This team is going to fight as hard as they can. They won the last 3 games of the year last year to not only get in, but host that first round matchup. And I know they're in 8th place right now. They're only 1 point out, though, of playoff positioning. And the 3 teams in front of them, Fairfield, Siena, and Niagara, 3 of those teams, they played 8 conference games. Quinnipiac's only played 7. So those 3 teams have a game on hand. Now, I know Fairfield, Niagara, Merrimack, that's a tough 3 games. At Fairfield, clearly.
And two on the road.
Yeah, we're getting there. At Fairfield is definitely the toughest one, in my opinion. Quinnipiac, much better at home. They should beat Niagara at home. I think we can agree on that. On senior, you never know. It's a tricky team.
I'll put it this way. This was the closest one. This was the hardest one for me to pick. I wanted to say treat. I ended up with treat.
They have to beat Merrimack.
All right.
They do.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Now, Quinnipiac women's soccer is 2nd in the MAC, just behind Fairfield and 1st. If both teams were to make it to the MAC championship, it would be the 4th year in a row. Do you think that we'll be treated to a 4th MAC championship rivalry?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a treat as well. It's a treat because it's an in-state rivalry. We're going to see all 4 of our years here, I believe. We're going to see Fairfield and we're going to see Quinnipiac. They're the only 2 teams in conference play that haven't lost yet this year, and it's, in my opinion, I know Sacred Heart was there.
Actually,
they're not quite
our
up.
first year, it was Quinnipiac over Niagara, which was the last time it wasn't 1 versus 2. Now, the thing is, the last time number 1 didn't win or advance to the final, 2015, it was number 6 Siena over number 2 Manhattan. So history says in the last decade, we're bringing back the decade number, Fairfield's most likely to make it, will Quinnipiac. Their semifinal game will be at home. They have won at home.
They're undefeated
at home. 3 ties, though. They're a younger team playing in a pressure-filled game. And Dave Clark himself has said his team isn't necessarily prepared to win those big games. Now, most of them have been on the road, but even at home. They tied Marist and Siena on the road, which are 2 of their potentially likely opponents to face. The real thing is, though, all 5 teams below them in the playoff picture currently, including Sacred Heart, the 3 seed, play on the road in their last game to close the season. Sacred Hearts isn't a must-win. All the other 4 teams will have experienced a must-win game on the road in a hostile environment. So I just think that with Dave Clark saying he's not sure if his team's ready, how can I buy in? I'm going with the trick.
Especially Siena. Siena's won their last 3. They have a huge game to try and get in playoff position.
And if they do, who knows?
Yeah.
All right, thank you both. I think you've both had enough candy, but when we come back, we'll take a sneak peek at the new QBSN magazine, and Zach and Beckett will debate some basketball. Stick with us, Bobcat Breakdown. We'll be right back. Reporting from the Grove for Q30 News.
Reporting from the Miller Library for Q30 News.
Reporting from the Mount Carmel campus for Q30 News.
Reporting on Whitney Ave for Q30 News.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Everyone has a ritual. That small thing we do to keep us focused.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game?
To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health.
Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Find the resources you need to keep your mental health a priority.
Love your mind.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. If you are just joining us, I'm Andrew Allison, and alongside me is Zach Naffah and Beckett Calkins. Now it's time to preview QBSN's upcoming edition of their magazine. Heading to the hardwood, Quinnipiac men's basketball is a favorite to win the MAC in the preseason coaches poll, but the KenPom rankings say otherwise, placing them in 3rd behind Marist and Siena. Beckett, you're a basketball beat reporter. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think both rankings are fair, but I wouldn't put Quinnipiac as the preseason number 1. I think Siena, they're legit. Siena's filthy. And I also think, not Marist, but Manhattan. Manhattan came on really strong at the end of last season. You look at the roster turnover all across the league, but especially for Quinnipiac. They lose Paulo Tieno to St. Louis. They lose Savion Lewis, of course, his 7th year. Finally, he graduated. Lots of roster turnover all over the conference. And I talked to Mount St. Mary's head coach Donnie Lind over the summer, who said, if you're a top 3 player on a MAC team, you should transfer. You should go get a better opportunity. You maybe should take advantage of NIL offerings out of their programs. We saw Quinnipiac, arguably two of Quinnipiac's best players last year, arguably their number one player last year, Amari Monroe. He chooses to stay. That's a big reason why this is the preseason favorite in the MAC coaches poll. That being said, the Bobcats, they really don't consider that number at all.
Yeah, I agree. Monroe's the best player in the MAC, no questions asked. The team hasn't made a MAC championship game. They lost in the semifinals back-to-back years, won the regular season, then lost in the semifinals. 4 different teams have made the MAC championship game over that stretch. St. Peter's, Fairfield, Mount St. Mary's, and Iona. None Quinnipiac. Their projected rankings, of course, so it's not based off of past results, but what they expect to happen in the future. But they haven't proven to be better than 3 in the last 2 seasons. So if I'm going to pick a ranking to follow, I'm going to go with the KenPom. And honestly, like you said, Beckett, I'm not convinced this team is as good as, never mind better, than they were the last 2 years when they showed they weren't better than arguably the 3rd best team in the conference.
See, I agree completely with that. I think they need to go out and they need to prove it. But the fact that they have the best player in the entire conference and one of the best players in mid-major college basketball, that says something.
For sure.
He chose to come back for a reason. Jaden Zimmerman didn't even enter the transfer portal. He wanted to stay. Those two are both going to be all MAC conference selections. And then we're getting rumblings. Asim Jones, the transfer, he has been fantastic in preseason practices, as well as Keith McKnight. He's a 3-star recruit out of Hudson Catholic, New Jersey. He has been fantastic, and he's going to see minutes early on.
They'll be a good team for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you both. Now we're going to move to the women's side of the court. The Quinnipiac women's basketball team lost a superstar point guard in Gal Revive as she transferred to UMiami. Who do you guys think is going to run the one for the squad? Zach, give me your opinion.
You got to give me Ella Ryan. 5'8", first-year guard, stepping in Revive's position. I don't see any other answer. She's a 3-level scorer, one of the best players in high school, holds the Brentwood High School record, most career points, rebounds, 3-pointers made, steals, points in a single season. Last year, Revive led the Bobcats in points per game, assists, rebounds per game, and was second in steals. Ryan is a two-way player. Revive was a two-way player. I don't see anyone having the same impact as Revive, but the only person that's going to come close to, in my opinion, is Ella Ryan.
Totally agree with Ella Ryan and her sister, Sydney Ryan. One other player who's not going to step up at the point guard position, but will absolutely step up this season with the absence of Grace Labarge, who graduated, is going to be Ella O'Donnell. Those are some players that are going to step up big time, and this women's basketball team is going to compete for another MAC title.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's going to be them versus Fairfield probably once again. It's the 2 best teams in the conference, in my opinion.
Yeah, Ella Ryan and Sydney Ryan, they're both going to help a ton. When you think of Gal Revive from last year, you think of her ability to get to the hoop with ease. You also talk about her ability to shoot the 3-ball. I mean, she could really shoot it from outside. And
so can Ella Ryan, 38%
exactly.
in her senior year.
Both of the Ryan sisters can do that. So they're going to stretch the floor for Trish Fabry's squad, and that's going to open up positions down low for players like Ella O'Donnell on the low block.
Help out Anna Foley as well, potentially. I just think this women's basketball team is one of the most interesting teams on campus, simply because if they can get star-level production out of Ryan, who I think will be the bigger impact out of all the players on the roster, they can potentially defeat a team like Fairfield, who has just been so dominant over the years. They beat him in the last game of the regular season last year, fell to him in the tournament, but in the tournament, one game is one game, and you never know, especially with 3-point shooting, and both the Ryan sisters bring that to this team.
We're always talking about big rivalries in Quinnipiac and Yale. How many times have we mentioned Fairfield already in this one? I mean, it's clear. Fairfield women's soccer and Quinnipiac women's soccer now on the women's basketball side. We've seen some great games on the men's basketball side. It's the biggest rivalry.
And it's honestly probably more one-sided to Fairfield across most sports, but it's more even than Quinnipiac versus Yale in just about any other sport, especially in hockey.
Absolutely.
All right. Clearly, both of you know ball, but unfortunately, that is all the debate that we will have for you tonight, as we are going to take our last break. But stay tuned, we'll have our final roars when Bobcat Breakdown comes back.
Make sure to celebrate when you're happy and laugh it up. Love your mind.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing to keep us focused.
A habit we never skip, to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mental health. Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Welcome, everyone. It's time for our final roars. I'll go first. Many people just know me as that news guy and think that I don't dabble in sports. Contrary to popular belief, I've been playing soccer since the day I could stumble around the playground. And although I don't have that much time to play anymore, I watch the sport religiously, and that includes the U.S. men's national team. Has anyone ever wondered why a country like the U.S., which seems so dominant in most athletics on the world stage, has their best performance at a World Cup being a quarterfinal finish in 2002? This doesn't include the women's team, who've won 4 World Cup titles and represent the country well on the world stage. Growing up, I played club soccer as well as for my high school. Club soccer is what you consider a travel team, and it wasn't cheap. As a kid, I didn't understand why some of my friends couldn't just try out to join my team, and I didn't realize how lucky I was that my parents could afford to pay the crazy amount that it cost. The reason the U.S. will never compete on the world stage is because grassroots programs are too expensive, leaving great athletes to choose another sport. All around the world, countries sponsor academy programs and camps, while organizations here charge incredible amounts just to attend a day-long camp. This needs to change, or soccer in the U.S. will forever be the forgotten child.
In the new age of college athletics, one thing controls all other variables, and that's money. While it's been this way for a while, the recent passing of the House settlement allowing colleges to directly pay their athletes, NIL changes, TV deals, and of course the legalization of sports gambling, they've all changed the way that administrators, athletes, coaches, and even fans look at college sports. College sports used to be an opportunity for young athletes to take their game to the next level. And while they still are, college sports have never been more of a business. We've talked about Amari Monroe turning down high 6, maybe even 7 figures to stay at Quinnipiac. A gutsy decision for Monroe, who bet on his success and loyalty at Quinnipiac instead of seeing a paycheck elsewhere. More and more athletes are seeing their years in college flash before their eyes for a huge financial gain. And more programs are treating college athletes as pros. The amateurism status that the NCAA has frequently talked about has never been more blurred. And while there are many unknowns surrounding college sports, perhaps the biggest question is, should athletes be considered employees of the university they represent?
Everybody loves a superstar. Their jerseys flood the stands, their play sends crowds into a frenzy. Fans worship them. You refer to them as their first name or a nickname, and everybody knows exactly who you're talking about. But no team is made up entirely of superstars. Some don't have any. Every roster has players who show up, do their jobs, and continue on without ever receiving the credit they deserve. Their role can be as simple as playing the final few minutes to give a star player some rest, or giving 110% in practice to push the starters to their max. With less than 2% of NCAA athletes turning professional, many of these players show up solely for the love of the game. Sometimes these players are thrust into spots that are meant for a superstar. The last shot, the last at-bat, matched up against an opposing team's superstar. Occasionally, they will fail, and fans are quick to criticize players for mistakes, especially when they aren't a star. But no one play or game defines a player, and no one player defines a team. And just as no one player should receive all the criticism, no one player should receive all the glory. Everybody loves a superstar, and they deserve the love and support that they receive. But don't be afraid to cheer a little louder for everyone else, as superstars still need their teammates to help them shine.
All right, guys, I have a quick question for you. What's your favorite candy, man?
My favorite candy, I gotta go with the Twix.
It's not a Kit Kat?
It's not a Kit Kat. So the king size, Twix is a share size. So I had to go with the king size to make the reference. Twix is my favorite.
Twix is a great choice. I go way back with Kit Kats. I actually love Kit Kats. I don't know if you knew that. But how about a Milky Way? Milky Ways are fantastic.
I did know you like Kit Kats. That's also part of the reason I took the Kit Kat. But Milky Ways are very good as well. There's a lot of great Halloween candy for sure.
You know what I hate?
Which one?
The people who give out raisins on Halloween.
That's a very fair point.
Thank you, guys.
Very
Thank you for your comments on Halloween candy. That's all the time we have for Bobcat Breakdown this week. Thank you for tuning in to another episode, and thank you to all the producers and everyone working hard behind the scenes. Stay up to date on Quinnipiac Sports, and make sure to follow us on Instagram and X at Q30 Sports, and check out our website at q30tv.com. For Zach Naffah and Beckett Calkins, I'm Andrew Allison. Have a safe and spooky Halloween, Bobcats.